You know, one of the things I wanted to ask you about your character, when you first got the role, and when you found out that you and Alan would be kind of an idol,
Yeah.
what were some of the thoughts that went through your mind?
Lucky me. I didn't know right away. I knew that they were insinuating that there was something going on with Alan and Sarah, but it wasn't until I read episode, 5, where I think we have our first kiss, and then episode 6 where it gets taken to another level. I like it. I think that Sarah sees Alan as I think that she admires him, and there's definitely something attractive about that. And Billy is amazing. He's such a lovely person, and very gentle. No, he was great. We had a really good time, and I think it's an interesting dynamic to throw into the show as well. So
isn't the dynamic shifting a lot now that the women have a lot more power than the men does?
I love that.
You looking forward to playing with it?
Yes, very much so. I think that they've done a really good job at creating multi-dimensional characters, especially with the women. It's so rare to see, fully fleshed out female characters, and they've really done a good job at, as similar as Sarah and Julia are, they've really distinguished us as our own individuals. So, I think it's awesome. I think it's great that the women are the immortals in the show, and we have a certain amount of power that the men don't have, and it's going to create a pretty interesting dynamic for season 2.
Now, Sarah's obviously really concerned about sort of like leaving her mark on the world. Like
absolutely,
that's big. How do you think her newfound immortality is going to play into that personality trait?
I think it's going to I think that Sarah's immortality is going to make her a lot more reckless. I think that in season 1 we definitely saw that her morals got compromised to advance her career or to hide her secrets. And I think in season 2, the fact that she is immortal, she's just going to take it to a whole other level. She doesn't really have anything to lose at this point, except for a little baby in her stomach. But I think she's going to be much more reckless this year.
Do you share any traits with your character in regards to that, or?
Maybe a little bit. I think I have quite a bit in common with Sarah, so it's fun to play her. I can definitely be reckless at times, but there's a time and place for that.
And the first episode is actually very clear that there was a lot of depth already, kind of built in for Sarah. Now, did you know how far that was going to go? Did you?
I didn't. They actually didn't tell me that Sarah was terminally ill. I remember when they told me, one of our producers told me, I thought he was joking. I was like, oh yeah, and you have a spinal tumor. I was like, okay. Sure. I was like, no, you actually do. So I ran home and I researched it. I think that they've done a really good job with Sarah. I think she's a super fun character. I love the fact that they created her as a terminally ill character. So in the first half of the season, or for most of season 1, she's completely vulnerable. She's not a very seemingly strong character, and then they flip it complete 180. All of a sudden, she's immortal. So I think that's going to be really fun to play with.
One thing I like about your character is it's believable. Did you have to do research with the CDC because when you talk about certain viruses, you're very believable.
Oh, thank you. My first year in college, I was pre-med, so I have a little bit of a science background. But I took it very seriously. I reached out. I got a contact at the CDC, and she was, completely candid with me. Told me tons of things about her time working there, and she actually, when we were in contact at the beginning of the first season, she was on maternity leave. She had just had a baby, kind of like Sarah. But I love it. I was just telling another table, like, one of my favorite things about the show is the scientific jargon. I love memorizing that stuff, and I hope that it's believable. I hope that we do it justice. because the writing is good and we want to do that justice.
So do you know, are you going to be pretty involved in season 2?
I think so. I think I've only read the first episode so far, but Sarah's very much in the mix, and I think her baby is going to be a serious plot point for season 2.
They brought up sort of like an adult subject in terms of euthanasia. It's still a very hot button issue all over the world.
Yeah.
How do you as an actor approach that sort of subject in a tasteful way, or how do you, like, what's your thought process going into that?
It was really difficult, actually. I had a big problem with it when I first read it. I didn't understand why Sarah would do this, and then when the actress came on who played Dr. Van Eygen, who I euthanized or overdosed with morphine, it was just so evident that she was so giving and so lovely, and I got right away why Sarah would help somebody like this, and she really was helping her. So yeah, it is a controversial subject, and I hope that we addressed it in a politically sound way, and I hope it was done tastefully. So.
We heard that there's a time jump between season 1 and season 2. Is that something that's sort of hard for you as an actor to do, to like miss this time in your character's life and have to fill in the blanks later?
I actually kind of love it. I love that there's a time jump. So one of the things about the show is that each episode is one day. So there's so much happening in such a short period of time that I think it's kind of nice to take a breather and allow our characters to really grow, especially after the experience that they just went through at Arctic Biosystems. I think to just jump in right away wouldn't be that interesting. So to jump in, over a year when the explosion happens, I think is much more interesting for the audience, much more interesting for the actors, the writers. So I like that decision.
Was there a particular episode? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Was there a particular episode that you gave input on that you like to share with us?
Yeah, I think it was the last episode where the first time that Julia and Sarah really bond, when we're in the cabin and we're talking about immortality. And yeah, Kyra and I had we have input in that scene for sure. It's rare that you see two female characters in a scene together where they're not talking about a man. So we really, really wanted to avoid that and just make it about, these two women have just found out that they're immortal. So that's what we should be talking about, not about a guy. But that was really fun. And Kyra's such a phenomenal actress, and just working with her is such a treat every time. Great. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.